Hi guys, welcome to Stretty News TV. Stretty Sundays has remained on Sunday this week, Serge. And it's just myself and Serge at the moment. Adam's going to join us. Adam, Stretty News writer, has been for a number of years, and we'll just wait for him to join rather than leaving everyone hanging in thin air. So where are we starting with this, Serge? Where do we start? We seem to have gone back 2 weeks. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean it's a strange one. We kind of got all excited and on the bandwagon of David Giggs. I was going to say David Giggs, Ryan Giggs of.
You're worse than that blooming spokesperson.
We all got on the bandwagon of bringing in Ryan Giggs, and we all fell in love with Giggs is going to take over with the class of '92 and whatnot. We all got very excited. I think if there was one word I could describe our season, it would be the word depression. Depression is a big word because if you know anybody with depression, you know that they have up days and down days, and that's what it's been like for United the whole season. We've had times where it's been like, oh, we're coming through it, we're getting through the shit, and then the next week we're back to square one again.
Yeah, it really has, and not up down sort of season, but it's up and down, and it's leaving us basically 7th now, isn't it? So there was people going yesterday. It's a conspiracy. We lost the game to stay 7th.
Yeah.
It was just like quite bizarre. So
yeah, I mean, I think if you honestly put your hand on heart and ask Man United fans, what they thought of not getting Europa League, I don't think many of them will complain. I don't believe that United need the distraction of Europa League next year. We should be doing what Liverpool have done this season, playing 15 less games than everybody in the top 4 or top 6 or whatever, and concentrate on the league, because that's what we need to do. We need to go out there and prove to ourselves and prove to ourselves and everybody else that we are still a team that's worth fighting for the Premier League, because what we've shown this season has been a disgrace.
Yeah, it's going to be strange, and you'd want an immediate response for United, as Fergie used to get an immediate response after defeats. So the press will be after it all over the summer to see who's coming in and who's going out, and such like, to see how United really respond to this season. I think that we've got to a point now that unfortunately the whole game on Tuesday night, it's just like it's going to be pass to me, pass to you, pass to me. Do we really want to bother? We just not finished the season now.
Sure. I mean, if I was to say to you, where did it all go wrong against Sunderland? What would you highlight?
I don't know. We spoke about this after the match yesterday, and I really couldn't figure out. Nani Young. Seriously, who's giving them 2 game time?
Yeah.
To me, I don't understand. Not when he's got Januzaj and Valencia who have played. I'm not saying they particularly played extremely well, but they've played to a standard where you'd think they deserve to get in the team ahead of Nani and Young. So maybe it was just a case of best squad rotation that Giggs was thinking of there. I'm glad to welcome in Adam, who seems to be just about adjusting his webcam for the best effect of his hairdo.
Adam, how did you feel we did against Sunderland? Where did it all go wrong, mate?
It was just poor from start to finish, really. I mean, I think you have to.
Adam, can I just stop you there? Can you just turn your webcam
90 degrees.
90 degrees.
Yeah, we seem to have your side on.
That way, that's better.
Okay.
Go on, where did it all go wrong, mate?
All right, yeah. I thought the central midfield pairing of Fletcher and Carrick in particular they weren't at it. It didn't work for whatever reason. I thought they were much better last week, but it was just a massive step backwards in that regard. Fletcher in particular, particularly the Connor Wickham cross, he didn't close it down. I'm a big fan of Fletcher's. I think he's done fantastic to come back from where he was just a few months ago, but he wasn't at the races today, and Giggs didn't seem to know how to turn it round, and I think it was a big learning curve for him.
Yeah, I think that's even more so echoed. Just within the whole camp. Not just within Giggs. I think the whole camp is hurting after that. More because I think I was saying to you, I think we fell in love with the story that Giggs was going to come in and take it over, and jump on the Giggs bandwagon of him becoming the next Man United manager. I, for one, was never advocating that. I was always going for, Louis van Gaal to come in and then Ryan Giggs to be the manager after, but he doesn't seem to be so happy with that. Why do you think that is?
Might be a degree of he thinks he's earned it, or perhaps he's in the dark. I don't know. He doesn't give the impression of knowing exactly what's going on. I think we have been sniffing around other managers a bit, so I think there is that uncertainty. So I wonder if it's a case more of he wants to know where he stands, not, if Van Gaal comes in, we'll keep you if he wants you, or you might be a coach, you might be assistant manager. And I think to a degree it's just, he probably wants his position clarified, and I think we all do. It's all been a bit of a mess in that regard. It's not obvious who is going to be the manager. We assume Van Gaal. Apparently it's been confirmed, but then apparently we're sniffing around Pep Guardiola. There's rumours that he's going to have Patrick Kluivert's going to be the assistant manager. So where does that leave Giggs? And it just all needs to be clarified. Yeah,
I mean, I want to keep tonight short as possible, really. Because I don't think there's a fantastic amount to talk about until Louis van Gaal is actually announced as manager and he reveals his plans for the summer. But just discussing, obviously the match as a whole. I personally feel that we shouldn't have been playing Fletcher and Carrick together. Mainly, when Giggs was bringing on Ron van Persie, he should have been taking off Fletcher or Carrick and then putting on Ron van Persie and not been taking off Mata, because there's no need for us to play the two, Fletcher and Carrick, against a half-hearted Sunderland, who are fighting for relegation, fighting against relegation. But we're a top team. I mean, don't think anyone can deny that. We are a top team. We should be playing 4 at the back, 3, and then 1, and then 2. We should not have set up like an away team with 1 striker up front. Ian, what do you think?
Yeah. What's my call? I put in that team when we did preview for Carrick and Fletcher because of a previous matches, especially when Fletcher came back. The Villa match, he played great when he came on as substitute there. And a couple of games later, he played for a whole 90 minutes at home, and he was my standout match. I can't remember who it was against, but he was my standout man of the match for that game. But the two of them just didn't seem to think. Carrick was. I'm not seeing him have a worse performance than that in ages. He just kept giving the balls away, 5-yard passes to the opposition. Seriously, how can a player of that quality seem to go off the boil so quickly?
Yeah.
I'm going to echo your sentiments on the Mata issue as well. He was the most creative player on the field, and he was creating chances in movement and stuff. But why the hell was he taken off to be put on by another striker? Take Carrick or Fletcher off and go for it.
Yeah,
that would have been the most sensible and the most efficient sort of way of going at it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we've got to remember, Ryan Giggs, he's a lovely gentleman, but unfortunately, at this moment in time, he's not what we need. People are saying, he can be the next Pep Guardiola for Man United and whatnot, but in reality, let's be serious. The squad needs an overhaul. We need to really take a good look at the players in the squad and say, right, you're not interested, show no passion, fuck off, kind of thing. Because I'm just going to say it bluntly. I'm frustrated, I'm upset, I'm angry, not totally happy with what's happened this season. It's been a shambles. It's been an absolute disgrace. Adam, thoughts?
Yeah, it's been the worst season in over 20 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. Cause
I think it's the worst season that I've ever lived through, if I'm honest.
Absolutely, and I mean, people kept bringing up, when Fergie first started, and it is not the same comparison. We weren't where we are now. It's not acceptable, that kind of slide. I think we all would have accepted, a drop to 4th. But 7th isn't on. I mean, it's a lack of passion at times, it seems. It's just been ridiculous.
Do they?
Pardon?
The players just don't seem interested.
They don't, and that's what was really irritating, especially yesterday, was it felt like an end-of-season match, but they've been shocking all season. They need to fight for that pride, and they didn't seem to be doing that. They seem to be taking it easy, looking ahead to the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to say to you, Ian, who do you think is going to be, at United next season, or who do you think, more importantly, who's not going to be at United next season? Who would you who would you say?
I don't know. We could go for a whole squad overall, really, couldn't you? To the point, I think De Gea, Raphael. Who else would you stick in midfield? I think Januzaj is the only sort of player that you keep with the midfield, maybe. Valencia. It's a bit strange, really. Did Van Persie, Rooney matter? I think that's probably about the only ones that you could keep. Maybe give Welbeck a shout as well, but it's a current. It's a
number of events. There's been a number of events which have really, even made me, really more angry, even more so. I mean, you look at what happened after Bayern Munich. We've been in the papers so much this year over the wrong things, which we just shouldn't be in the paper for. I mean, look at Tom Cleverley coming back from Munich after being knocked out, and he's going out on the piss with Danny Welbeck. Fair enough to Welbeck because he's done decent this season. But Tom Cleverley, he should be in the bloody training ground, training to try and make up for all the shit he's put us through this season. Not out on the piss.
You know what's scary about this part is that these games that don't really mathematically mean anything to United at the moment. Probably the auditions, and Hodgson's actually come out today and said that United players are not going to be making a play into the World Cup. I'm going to United players have made up England squads for years on years, and these players should really be playing for their place on that plane.
And for next season.
You've got to.
Do they want to be Manchester United players anymore? They have to ask themselves. I mean, people like Nani obviously don't. Why he got played, I don't know. He's made it quite clear now for over a year that he doesn't want to be at the club. Ashley Young isn't good enough. I'm slightly wary of saying that people are saying we should sell 12 players, and I'm slightly cautious of that. But at least 5 need to go, and you wonder, do they want to be at the club anymore? People like Tom Cleverley have come through the youth system. You should want to, you should want to wear the Man United shirt, and they don't seem to. It's shocking.
Yeah, he seems to be one of those players that sort of you'd think, hang on a minute, you've been a United fan all your life, come along and give us something to sort of say, well, right, you get a contract extension, you can stay at the club. But it looks like he's going to be off to Everton in the summer.
Something that baffled me is the whole giving Nani a 5-year deal. I don't know whether that was just as like Aguero did at Atletico, was so United could make some money on him, just like with Aguero did with Atletico, just they could earn some money off Aguero. What do you reckon was that? But he evidently doesn't want to. Doesn't want to play for Man United no more. You saw, every time he comes off as a sub for United, all the fans cheer. All the fans cheer when he comes off. You must think we're either cheering for him or cheering against him. But I'd like to think he kind of realises that he's not playing his best at all.
No, it's got to be a mental thing to come as a player. When you're getting a bigger cheer for going off the pitch than the substitution that's coming on. It's normally the other way around. It's normally you cheer one for the better player. It seems to be the worst player. Seems to be getting a better cheer that he's going off the field. I thought that the same situation was against Norwich when Cleverley went off. The place nearly erupted when his number went on the blooming board. I was like, whoa.
What amazes me is Juventus. Conte has repeatedly said he's an admirer of Nani. Apparently they're sniffing around. I'd bite the hand off. How quickly can we get that deal done? How quickly can we get him to Juventus for a bit of money? Maybe get a deal for Vidal coming the other way. We need, if there are clubs currently sniffing around, which amazes me, we need to get those deals done quick because before people realise what kind of player he is. But
yeah, it's and the fortunate thing is that if you're a United player and you want to leave in the way that Nani has wanted to leave for so long, then you do your best to put yourself on the shop window. not play mediocre football. You know, we had opportunities like yesterday where he just slowed the entire game down. Sunderland got about 5-6 players behind the in front of the ball before he passed, and I was like, at least do something with it. Just don't stand there and
I mean, it was as
a brick wall.
It was like a crab. They were like crabs, just going from side to side to side to side. There was no penetration whatsoever, and that's been echoed the whole season, even under Moyes. It was like playing under Moyes.
Yeah, as well. I said this to you yesterday, but I've said it at the start of the show. It looks like we rewound 2 weeks, and Moyes is back in charge. This has got nothing really against Giggs, and I never had any real expectations of Giggs as a manager. You know, it's 4 games. He comes in, takes charge, he gets a bit of experience, but you know, you do want to see us lose in such a really bad way again. You'd expect that the players would be up for playing under Giggs and go out as his mate and do his best. So it's a bit strange, really, that he didn't. There's some strange rumours going around. I've not seen much of this, but Serge has mentioned it earlier on to me about the Glazers. Yeah, potentially wanting to sell. Can you fill me in on this, Serge? Because I've been to football.
Yeah,
and not seen much of this.
It hit Twitter today about the Glazers wanting to sell United, that all wasn't well, and that there was arguments within the club. You know, obviously it must have been between board directors, I'm assuming, or whatever. I don't actually know the full rumour, so to speak, but you know. I don't see why they would sell at this point. You know, Ian, you're part of Reclaim United. I'm sure you have more of an insight into this yourself.
Well, you know, my various bits of channels and knowledge of things. Reclaim's not really to do anything with the Glazers as such, but yeah, it's a bit of an odd time to sell for the Glazers, really. Knowing that they've got to spend quite a bit of money, so that potentially could bring the prices of the club down. When you've got to, unless you balance the books quite easily with selling players, but the quality of players that United are after, that are going to have to be after, you're looking at around an average of 25 to 30 million per player. You're not selling Nani for that. You're not selling Ashley Young for that. So the value of the club's got to go down in retrospect of the amount of money that's got to be poured out of the club to replace this overall of the squad. So the Glazers want to sell if they want to sell, and they're going to sell now, then they're going to want to sell at the highest value they can possibly get, and they should have done that just after Moyes got sacked. That was when the highest value of the club was, because the blooming share price bounced up.
I mean, you want to sell from a position of strength, surely. I mean, right now, they're not going. Why would they sell now? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It sounds one of
could be cut the losses, get out while they can. Save any more money they're going to have to put in or whatever. Not, I'm assuming.
Well, they've not really put a penny in, so none of the money that thing is. The thing as fans that we wanted to see is that we wanted to see that the profits that United make year on year, because United's revenues are extremely decent. Ed Woodward and co behind the scenes have got all these marketing deals. We've got a commercial partner for everything. So that there's money pouring into United, it's just pouring out in debt repayments. It's not pouring out in buying and upgrading the squad constantly.
Sure. It's not even about them putting money in. It's just taking the money out for one season. If we used one season where we actually used our profits to invest in the team rather than levy debt, then we'd be in a much better position.
That's probably what's now put them in such a place where they can't do that, because if they don't put this money, this season's really got to have a £200 transfer kitty, because of the amount of lack of investment since we're going back to pre 2009. That United have actually spent some decent money. I think the last decent player United really bought was Van Persie, and that was a one-off. If you go back behind there, then you're probably going back to the days of Ronaldo, Tevez sort of players. we actually spent some decent money on. We spent 30 million for Rio. Was it 30 million for Rio Ferdinand? We spent something ridiculously on him at the time. He was probably overpriced at the time, but he's gone on to play and be quite successful at United. But I think if this is true, then a lot of United fans are going to rejoice at the idea of the Glazers going, and we'd hope that whoever comes in and gives the fans a share and a say and stuff. I'm just starting to wonder.
That's the most important thing. You look at the other leagues. You look at Bayern Munich, and you look at you look at
Madrid, Barcelona.
All the fans have a share, a meaningful share within the club where they have a voice. Not necessarily to run the club, because no one wants to run the club. No one's asking to run the club, but we're asking for a voice. And on that note, I'm hearing that there is going to be a protest leaving from Sandplatz pub at 6:30, 7 o'clock on Tuesday.
It's strangely that I've actually had people involved in that protest come and ask because of Reclaim about it, which is a bit strange for Reclaim to do something like that, because it's got Reclaim's got no political sort of voice in that sense. But you can understand if it times in quite well to have a protest against the Glazers and maybe get some more media focus on that. The campaign in 2010 was a great visual protest, and unfortunately it had no solution at the end of it, which is why it died out. But if you've got a solution that may come through to the end of the Glazers, then this could be a kickstart of a whole summer of anti-Glazier protests and stuff like that. It's really quite interesting. The
people that have been have left scotch-free almost, the whole season. So that everyone's kind of used Moyes as the scapegoat. Had to go at Moyes, but where's the investment been? So for me, you've got to look at the Glazers and say where's the money going, and it's going towards debt. And the only way we're going to get around that is either clear, them using the personal funds if you can to clear the debt, or
well, I very highly doubt that. They've not really got that much in funds with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in similar states, and they've still got shopping malls to sell in the states. So no, I don't think it's going to come out the Glazers' back pocket in any means. It's going to come out United's revenue streams, and it's going to just slow up repaying debt.
Will United, Ian, can I ask a question, because you obviously see more clued up than I do, but do you know if we will ever pay off our debt?
Yeah, I can. The thing is with United's debt is that you can pay it off quite, and United have got till 2017 to pay off the current debt. That the interest and stuff needs to be paid off by 2017. So United, yes, will clear that debt off.
$1 million percent.
If the Glazers want to sell at this current time, then that debt becomes something that's obviously not going to be wanted by an investor. Someone's going to have to buy the club and buy the debt, basically. So that could help bring the value of the club back down. And you say, well, hang on a minute, the club's valued at one point. I'm not too sure. I've not seen the share price currently, but it's been around about 1.6 billion pounds. If that's not that was the sticking point when the Red Knights were about, was the fact that they valued the club at just under $1 billion, and that could be a bargaining chip for them. And you could say, right, well, hang a minute, the club's got £300 million worth of debt, so you can take that with you. Or you can take it off the price of the club, because we're going to have to clear that off. We're going to have to do your dirty work. And this is, he's going back on the point of Moyes being used as a bit of a scapegoat. The Glazers used Fergie as a scapegoat at the start of the season because it was all about Fergie's choice and about Moyes. Evidently, there's a board room full of board members, Bobby Charlton, Fergie, the Glazers, there's 3 of them on the board. Have all got a say, so this is not entirely. It was never entirely Fergie's choice. Just they made it out to be so they could use Fergie as a scapegoat. Maybe this rumour of upset in the boardroom could stem from Fergie finally speaking out against them. But we'll never know that, so we can only speculate about that. But if it was ever to come out that he did, then it'd be a very decent book in about 15 years' time. But I think in all, everyone wants the Glazers gone some way or another, and unfortunately, without nobody wants a lucrative money deal, £2 billion shakes or whatever, because then we look like City. But we want someone with a bit of decent cash that gives United, that they can sell United for a value that they're happy at, they can buy United at a value that they're happy with, that also includes giving the fans a stake. So this could be good. Serge, what else can we take from the whole match that's going to come up with now? Like I said, it's pretty much dead wood for the season.
I don't think there's much to take off from the whole game. I think we've got give all we can, and and move on and close the season off as quick as we can and kind of forget about it. The biggest happiness this season is either Liverpool or City. One of them will win the league. And I don't know, what's so happy to sing and dance about, but we're all rooting for City to win it. How sad are we?
Yeah, that was what's-my-call. I was in Sam Platts after the match yesterday, and people were literally on their phones.
Scored.
Pardon?
People were cheering when City scored.
Well, that's what I mean. It was quite ridiculous to a point that City got back in it in such a way. And
no. I think we should move on to some of the questions.
We got some decent views and questions.
Yeah, we've got some decent ones, and we've also we'll ask Adam regarding who he would like United to sign at the end of the season, start of the transfer window. So let's start with the first question. The first question is from one of our regular watchers, Croatian Snoop, and Crow Snoop. He said, "Hi lads, question from me today. Who would you name as captain in our squad next season? Who has the potential to be a leader?" Adam.
For me, there's not a lot of options. I mean, I can see if Van Gaal comes in, I can see it being Van Persie. He likes Van Persie. He's a big fan of him. Rooney has been the most commonly, kind of thrown around name, but again, his future isn't 100% clear. I mean, if Rio Ferdinand stays another year, he's an easy choice, but he's not going to be playing a lot. Personally, I think Rooney is probably the best option. Somebody who is going to be playing regularly and has been at the club a long time. But again, that all depends on how willing he is to stay.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Rooney as well. I think his passion, he's wanting to play football and stuff, puts him in good stead, and he takes the limelight off this Van Persie sort of Van Gaal sort of link as well. And takes the pressure off him just to go and play his football, and that's what we want to see from Robin Van Persie. We just want to see him playing football. We don't need him to potentially be put under the spotlight every time something doesn't go United's way. We're not saying that United's going to run around with the league next season, because there's definitely, as we've seen from this season with Liverpool joining in the top four, and there's definitely going to be 5 or 6 teams, and Everton might throw their names in the bags quite interestingly next season, depending on who they're bringing in the summer. Hopefully they'll bring in Tom Cleverley from us. We'll make some money off that, and then they can mess around in their midfield, and then they go back into their Europa League.
Go back to them 6-0. So if you were to say who was going to be the next captain, Adam, one player, who was it?
Wayne Rooney.
And you, Ian?
Yeah, that's be Rooney for me.
Rooney. And for me, I'm going to go with. Need to be controversial here. I'm going to go with Robin Van Persie. Mainly because Louis van Gaal has a good rapport with him. Wayne Rooney will spit his dummy out, and I personally don't really think we need Rooney at United. I think we're better off without him. Bring in somebody else and stop being Wayne Rooney FC, where it's all about Wayne Rooney, and become Man United again, where we're a team, not Wayne Rooney FC. Next question: how true are the rumours circulating today? That was Ahoff Man United. I think we talked about that. Was the Glazer rumour. We've already talked about that, so I'll move on to the next one. This one's from Craig Lee the Best, at Craig Lee the Best. And he said, "Would you sell Rooney if Cavani was to come in?" Ian.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Like we say, we've got pretty array of players that can play in that number 10 role. So I think if you actually got a good value for Rooney, then you would probably potentially and mix up the front line. Cavani, Van Persie, Jesus Christ, it sort of strikes fear into the heart of defenders, doesn't it, straight away?
Yeah. Adam?
I wouldn't know. I mean, with all the rumours of Cavani, I mean, he has been a lot of people are blaming the fact that he's been played on the right side at PSG as part of the problem. But he is operating more as a traditional winger there, and I think it's a bit different. Ibrahimovic in the middle than Rooney. I'd quite like the idea of having kind of two wide strikers in the form of Van Persie and Cavani, and then kind of Rooney sitting a bit further back and he can orchestrate things or matter. So I think there's room for both in the club. I don't think Cavani is necessary, but I don't think you'd have to sell Rooney if he did come in.
It's a strange one. We got any more questions, Serge?
Yeah, there's lots of questions. The next one is
That's a good question.
there's lots of rumours out. This is from Politic Watcher. Lots of transfer rumours. What seems more plausible? And on that note, I think we should ask Adam, who would you like to see come in based on the rumours?
Based on the rumours, I mean, people keep mentioning Tony Cruz. He keeps getting thrown out there. From what I've heard, basically, from comments from his agent, he's basically said he'll do his last year at Bayern and then he'll either move or he'll renew his contract. So I don't think there's any point in moving for him if he's going to be either available on a free or staying at Bayern. Personally, I think Luke Shaw we keep being linked with. I'd definitely sign him. I think he's a great prospect. He's shown he can do it already, and he could potentially be our left back for the next 15 years. Then, I mean, Vidal at Juventus is somebody for me who I'd really like to see come in. I think he's an absolute class player. And then Ezekiel Gary at Benfica, he showed how good he is in the Europa League. He's only got a year to run his contract, so I think it makes very good sense to get him in. After those three, I mean, I'd get those three and then look at a couple of other options, maybe bring in some youth.
Lovely. We'll move on to the next question. Ian, this one's for you. Realistically, this is from Daniel Bowden. Bowden, apologise if I've got it wrong. Hopefully it's one of them two. Realistically, we need 5 or 6 players to become title contenders again, though this is impossible to implement in one transfer window. I agree. How long will the rebuilding process be under Louis van Gaal? Ian.
It's not impossible in one transfer window,
Yeah, but look what happened to Spurs this year, Ian.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a strange one, but that's just more management, really. With Fergie bought in and took out 5 players and brought in 5 players, then he'd probably have them all playing under the same song sheet within a couple of months.
So do you think
I don't think that's out of the question, but you'd probably think that you'd replace like for like with like for better during the summer. And the 3 that I'm a big fan of Vidal as well, Adam. I think it'd be a superb prospect at United. Still young as well and got great experience playing in Juventus now, Serie A champions. So he's got to work that. I think 3. And then maybe 2 in January. I know January is a bit harder to do, but it might be easier with this week being World Cup summer. So, that might be a real good place to do it and, get all 5 done within this first season.
Yeah, I accept that. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think that you do need quite a number of transfer windows to get the business done and to implement it in the right way. I don't think you can all do it at once, as you've seen with Spurs. Players need to know how to play with each other, and it takes some time. So I definitely think drip, introduce people slowly, and it'll come good again. We'll move on to the next question. This one's from James Wheeler, who says, "Feels like the summer is going to be the biggest ever upheaval at Man United in our lifetime. My thought range from euphoric excitement to the possibilities of success Louis van Gaal can achieve, to the genuine feeling of trepidation, reality. Fergie did really make us feel invincible." Thoughts?
Yeah, he did make us feel invincible. It has been a big shock to the system. So it is. I guess it's a little bit. There is excitement within the whole disappointment, and there is definitely room some. A lot of difference. I mean, Van Gaal's system, for one thing, he likes a 3-4-3, which isn't something we've really seen at United. It will be something different. It will be exciting. we'll see how long it takes to work, how many players get brought in, and it could be an amazing success, or it could be another really difficult season.
I thought it was a 4-3-3, not 3-4-3.
He likes both, but I think his ideal is 3-4-3. Pragmatically, he uses 4-3-3 when possible. But I think he does like that kind of 3 centre backs, one as libero, then your 2 wing backs, a double pivot, and then kind of your 3 attackers.
So Alex, we're in for a lot of attacking football.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can get that balance right. So at least if we are disappointed next season, it won't be for a lack of attacking as it has been this year. Hopefully we get something a bit like Fergie's last season where, okay, maybe we're shipping goals, but at least we're scoring a bunch as well.
Sure. Yeah. The next question isn't really a question, it's more of a request from Viash Book, who said, get the traditionally British manager debate on. The only decent current British manager out there is arguably Brendan Rodgers. Hate to say it, but he has spent lots of time in Spain to learn his craft, and this from where his football philosophy comes from. Worked under Mourinho. Also, this says a lot about British managers. We are going to do a show for sure about British managers. We'll hopefully do it next, maybe even after Tuesday. We'll involve everybody. We'll do a show based on the whole myth about British managers. Where's it all going wrong? Why United not gone for a British manager? Seeing as our tradition's always been hiring British managers. So we will get that on the Ash. Next question is from Jono Griffiths. Jono Griffiths. Do you think missing out on Europa could end up being a good thing for the club? Adam. Ian.
It depends how we handled it. If we played the kids and just took it as something to go on, then it wouldn't matter. Obviously, if we threw our all into it and then it affects the league, it's a bad thing. So I think if it was handled properly, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Sure. Ian?
Yeah, I think missing out on it, you said it before, it gives you 15 games off the last season, lets you concentrate on the domestic stuff. And it's worked really in Liverpool's favour this season, although I'm quite getting anxious. The idea of that City winning on goal difference at the end of this season could be quite funny. Rather than watching the Scousers and Steven Gerrard pick up so that he's got the same Premier League medals as Luke Chadwick. You just love that as a United fan, would it? Just the fact that you could always be on 0, Luke Chadwick would be on 1. Or as the song goes, Sinji 1, Gerrard no.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it's a great thing for the club. Don't think we need Europa, don't need the distraction. Concentrate on the league, win it next year, show who we really are, and move on. Next question.
You was well up for the idea of a Europa League game in Crimea.
I did not fancy.
You love the away, Serge.
Mate, I do like going to away games, but I didn't fancy going to Crimea to watch United. I don't fancy going to Crimea FC or Azerbaijan or somewhere random where they throw shit off the balconies and stuff like that.
How much Europa League football have you watched, Serge?
You know what? I actually went to see Slovan Bratislava versus Apoel Nicosia in a Champions League qualifier. That's when I went travelling around Europe. Now that is real football. Forget Old Trafford, lads. You got to get down to Slovan Bratislava. No word of a lie. It is the funniest thing you'll ever see. It's so funny, honestly. Anyway, let's move on. Sean Redmond has said, that's at Sean MUFC 20. Give him a follow. Top red guys, lovely guy. He's been on here a number of times. Did we miss Rooney yesterday? Would our performance have been better if he had played? Ian.
I think this is a bit strange though. We seem to really pick and choose when we turn it on and off, and sometimes actually when Rooney's on the pitch it works, and when he's not on the pitch it all goes to pot. So we maybe did miss Rooney yesterday, but obviously he doesn't want to. He's probably the only United player that he'd probably want to send apart from maybe Jones and Smalling to the World Cup. So he's probably keeping his own interest in being England's main man in a couple of weeks' time at heart, so that growing strain leaves him to sit up in his box and enjoy his teammates getting demoralised by blooming Sunderland.
Sure. Illinois United, a regular watcher. Appreciate him coming in and watching our Stretty Sundays. What players do you think Van Gaal will want to keep? I think that's more of an interesting point. Who will we want to keep? Adam.
Yeah, go on, Adam.
I think Van Persie is the obvious one. I'd thought Rooney. He's a top player. I can't see why anybody wouldn't want him. Mata again, the same applies. Top player. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the wingers. He obviously, he likes players like Robben, who I guess is in a similar mould to Nani. Obviously, Nani's loads worse, but it'll be interesting to see if he does fancy keeping players like Young and Nani because they are two-footed and they can be used on either wing. So hopefully not. I think the players who perhaps will be worrying about their future are the Cleverleys, Fellaini, and also Kagawa as well. He's not really been used in his preferred position, and I can't see that kind of happening under Van Gaal either.
I mean, I'd like to see Kagawa play more with Mata. I don't think that's been done enough. I think they really bounce off each other. I love watching them play together. They're like two little magicians, and I think that's what we miss. I think Mata was like without his his little buddy next to him on the field on Sunday, on Saturday. Next question is from Vid Petalin, who's asked, "Hi guys. Do you want Van Gaal to come in? A. To me, his tactics are kind of too old school. Sticks to his 4-3-3, and his ego can be a problem in the dressing room, much like Jose." I'm going to answer this one because I haven't had the chance to, but I will answer this one, Vid, and I will tell you that I think he will be fantastic to come in. Mainly because we need someone who's got an even bigger ego than some of the egos in the dressing room, like Rio Ferdinand and whoever else, to come in and say, "No, this is Man United. I'm the boss here, and I can drop any of you guys, and I will, basically." His tactics are attacking. We want to see attacking football. We're Man United. We like seeing Man United way. Attacking entertainment. That's in the end what we all go to see United for. So, I think he'd be a fantastic manager for Man United. Exactly what we need at this point. Not long term, but at this point, fantastic. So, Vid, thanks for the question. Final question. Do not understand why we are interested in Cavani. Defence and midfield surely a priority. Adam.
Yeah, I mean, he's a luxury item. If we get him, as long as it's not at the expense of other players. If we shore up that midfield, if we bring in, a left back, a centre back, and a central midfielder, then by all means get Cavani as well. He's a great player. Who wouldn't want him at the club? But only as long as we get those necessary players in first.
Sure. Now we're just going to literally the final question because people keep tweeting us. I just want to get them all in. Haider Shahid said there are rumours floating around today that Van Gaal is interested in Robben and or Ribéry. Even though he doesn't believe the rumours, what will your thoughts be on them anyway? Ian?
We're going to end up with being linked to everyone now, aren't we? Come on.
We're going to get Leon Osmond.
It's going to get ridiculous. Are going to have one every 30, 40 seconds. It was have certain stages of a couple of seasons ago. Are those type of players really going to leave Bayern Munich, considering they're in a Champions League final?
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, they're not, aren't they? But they're not going to move really. I think the press are just going to try and link us to everybody and anybody, and I think you've got to really see what happens and comes on. So is that the end of the show? Have we got any more questions? No, Serge is definitely going home. He wants to go to sleep. He wants the season to end. Thanks, Adam, for coming on. Thanks for all of the really good questions that kept us going on for the past 50 minutes. Because to be honest, there's not really much to talk about in United in this way, and probably at the end of the season we'll bring up some more decent news and things that we've got coming out your way anyway. So.
Can I just mention before you start, we've got a couple of fantastic shows coming up. One of them is called Glazeronomics, so tune in for that, talking all about finances at Man United. We're going to have a couple of 2 or 3 massive people who are involved with United's books. Hopefully, we're going to be having the CEO of Man United Supporters Trust, Duncan Drasdo. We'll also be having Andy Green, who's also very involved with the Man United Supporters Trust, and also Kieran Maguire, who is a financial expert at the Leicester University, and he will be coming on as well to discuss it. So that's going to be cool. Glazeronomics. We're also going to do a season's review with 4 older Reds who have seen United way before my time, and that will be pre-recorded and it will be put on the channel for you guys to watch at the end of the season. Johnny Schrager will be the host for that. Ian, over to you.
Good stuff. Yes, there's definitely a lot more coming your way. Even throughout the World Cup as well, we're going to follow United's players there, which strangely enough,
we might not have it
maybe more the foreign United players more than the English ones in this sense that we'll be following. But yeah, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Please leave your comments and any more further questions in the comments below. As always, I'd like to thank again Adam for coming on. Great Stretty News blog writer. If you want to give your Twitter handle a shout out there, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at FT Ball Talk Life. Every Monday I have a column for Stretty News, so that'll be up in the morning. And yeah, thank you for having me as always.
No worries. Thanks again, Serge. And thanks for you guys for watching. And we'll see you hopefully in the middle of the week sometime.